Hello everybody. So I finally decided to film my braces Q&A. Um, I'm filming this in hope that obviously it'll help anyone else with their journey, or if they're contemplating getting braces, then maybe this can answer the questions that you have. But what I've come to find is that everybody's journey is so different, because I've watched a ton of YouTube videos, IGTVs, giving me an insight of what I look forward to when I'm going to do my braces, etc. So I did a whole lot of research, but let me tell you, none of those things adequately prepared me for my experience. So I'm just going to be breaking all of that down, and hopefully it gives you all the information that you need before you go on and put your braces on. Okay, so the first one I get a lot is, why did I decide to put braces? Because my teeth are perfectly fine, etc., etc. To be quite honest, they're not at all. I'll start with the bottom. At the bottom, I had these teeth that used to go in this way. I'll show you a few pictures at the end. So they used to go in that way, and then at the top, I had this. I have this tooth that's on the top, and when I smile from the side, it looks like I kind of have no tooth there, which made me very self-conscious. Like when I would laugh or smile or talk or whatever, I'd always keep in mind, oh shoot, that tooth. So I didn't like that. And I did have ample opportunity when I was younger. I actually don't know why I stalled and waited this long, but nonetheless, here we are. Okay, so definitely because of my side profile, and when I would go for like modeling or like auditions, I'd be so uncomfortable. Especially when the director or like the cameraman would be like, smile everyone or whatever, I'd be like, oh my god, no. So like it never used to work out. I hated that. And yeah, so that's the reason. And also I just want a perfect smile. Like, who doesn't want a perfect smile? Yeah, so the other question that I get is, why do I talk this way, and why do I have this palate or whatever, this thing under my palate? And well, it's actually called an expander. It's not an underwire or whatever, it's actually an expander. And the reason why my orthodontist put it in was because I'm older and he didn't want to take out teeth, and I didn't want to take out teeth as well. Imagine, oh my gosh. Yeah, so it's put in there to create gaps and spaces, because all my teeth have well grown in. So the expander actually creates gaps so that the teeth can move into the correct position. Those who don't know what an expander is, I don't know if you can see it. So it basically goes in right on the top, and then there are rings connected to it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 rings in my mouth, and then basically they expand on the top. So the reason why it messes with your speech is because your tongue can't really go all the way up. It's like actually very uncomfortable. It's like an obstruction, obstruction in your mouth. So it's like very, very frustrating, especially in the first week. I'll put in a video of my first week. It was so uncomfortable to talk, and you can imagine, because I'm a teacher, so like it was in the midst of preparing for examinations, etc. So I had to talk and read and explain, well, naturally, but like even more so, and it was just horrific. And the more you try to move your tongue or speak, it actually presses down on your tongue, and it creates the mark, which kind of burns sometimes. So yeah, that's the use of the expander, and actually it does hurt sometimes, not all the time, as you get used to it. But like now, I've gotten used to speaking, I've gotten used to swallowing. There was another issue, like once when it was in, especially in the first week, I couldn't swallow properly. It was so frustrating. I couldn't chew properly. It was so irritating. I know the first day I got home, I actually cried, because like I hadn't eaten the whole day, because I had my appointment to go in and put them on, and then I was like, I had this is so silly, but anyways, I had put chicken curry and roti away, and I was like, oh, when I get home, I'm gonna eat. I'm so excited, you know, like I'm that person that gets really excited for food. I get home, and I put the food in my mouth, and I don't know. It was as if I didn't know how to swallow. It was like I'm a baby and I'm still navigating the swallowing and chewing part of it all. I just like I had it in my mouth and my tongue, and I'm like, and I'm trying to swallow and it's not happening. I'm trying to chew and it's not happening. So I actually just threw my plate there and I started crying and I went to my room. I was so frustrated. And I went on YouTube and I was like, what is an expander? What is the use? When will it come out? Like I was panicking. And at first I thought my author had put it on wrong. I was like, no ways, he definitely put it on wrong. And then I go on YouTube and I like, oh my God, this is how actually people will speak with an expander in. And then I read that you're gonna have it in for like 1 to 6 months, and I'm like, yeah, with my luck, definitely 6 months, and yes, it's gonna be more than 6 months, like I knew. And so yeah, it was just very weird. But after that I said to myself, you know what, I wanted braces, I really want these perfect teeth, so whatever comes with it, I'm gonna have to make it work. And I did. And to be quite honest with you, like people will be like, oh, weren't the kids making fun of you in school? We actually just turned it into a personal joke. And I think anybody with intellect or who's mentally inclined like will not like laugh at you and stuff like that. It's like it's an expand, it's not that big of a deal. It changes your speech, yes, but like it's really not that big of a deal. And like after a while you get used to it. Obviously I don't talk like how I used to talk before, but now I talk much better than I did at the beginning when I first got it in. So that's fine. You will navigate, you will eat again properly, you'll be fine. Like it's nothing to worry about. Whew. And then the next thing I want to speak about is the cost. A lot of people ask me about the cost, and to be quite honest with you, when I first embarked on this journey, I did a lot of quotes. I got a lot of quotes, sorry. Yes, I got a lot of quotes from different orthodontists, and I was comparing costs, etc., etc. And also, it's very important to speak to other people who have been to that particular orthodontist before you actually choose him. So I think that's very important to see how that person works. Are their services fine? Like you need to know all of that information before you take out all that money. So I was blessed because I originally wanted to go with a doctor that was quoting me 38,000 Rand. And I actually paused on that. And then in the interim, I met another teacher that I work with, such a bomb babe, Sasha, who actually gave me her orthodontist number. And he did a great job on her teeth. That's why I ended up going with him. And more so, his cost was so much better. So like I said, I was getting quotes of 38,000 Rand. The most ridiculous one was like 50 to 60. And the reason why I think mine were a bit more expensive, well, they kept on saying the reason why it's more expensive is because you want clear braces. Well, I'll get into that. You want clear braces and not metal, and metal is much more cheaper than clear, etc., etc. But with my doctor, he gave me my clear brackets and it was still so much cheaper. So the difference between clear brackets and metal brackets. Clear brackets are these things here that they stick onto your teeth, right? Those are the brackets and those are clear. So you get clear and you get metal. So I opted for clear. And then I also opted for clear bands. Now bands are the things that they put around the brackets. Those keep the wires in tight. And I also opted for clear bands. Big mistake, I'll tell you why. So obviously clear brackets are much more expensive than metal brackets because of their invisibility. They're there, but like you can't really see them, especially if you are taking pictures or whatever the case may be. They're really not that visible. And I wanted them because I felt like I'm much older and I didn't want to like have those metal braces in my mouth. Like I didn't want them to be so visible, etc. However, metal braces are also cute, but I'm just saying this was my preference, my choice. I was going to tell you why you shouldn't get clear bands. I was like, no, my ortho assistant, she actually said to me, no, don't get clear bands, they're gonna stain because you eat a lot of curry, etc., etc. And I was like, oh my god, no, I'm definitely getting clear bands. I won't stain them, and even if I do, I'll find a way to get them unstained, etc., etc. I didn't want to listen. I was being so stubborn, like I know everything. Well, if you know me, you know. Whatever. Right, so she said to me, don't get them, they're gonna stain and then it looks really untidy. And I was like, no, I'll take my chances, let me just try it out. I like the fact that it's so invisible, it's not seen, like, you know. And I did try them, and biggest mistake ever, because I actually eat a lot of curry and I like putting turmeric in my curry and stuff like that, and it actually started to stain the band. Now, not the brackets, the band around the brackets, and it became like really yellow. So it didn't matter how much I was brushing my teeth and cleaning them out, they appeared as if they were not being brushed, and it looked so terrible. I kid you not, it looked disgusting. It looked like I wasn't even brushing my teeth. So that was a very big mistake. I then went on YouTube and tried to get remedies to unstain it, etc., and those remedies don't work. Bicarb, none of it. Charcoal, none of it. They don't work. Once the band is stained, it is stained. There's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, I should have listened. But what is another thing is that what's great about it is that there are other colors that go with the clear bracket, and it's like invisible. When you take pictures or whatever, it's very invisible. So Sasha actually advised me to get lilac, not lilac, sorry. She advised me to get baby pink. And I actually got baby pink. I actually have that in now, and it's actually also very invisible. And then also on YouTube they say colors like lilac is very nice. Sasha also said gray, so I'm waiting for my auto to get gray, and then in my next appointment I'm going to put gray. So those are very invisible colors. They go nicely with the clear bracket, sorry. And yeah, so don't get clear bands. Do not get clear bands. What else do I need to tell you about? Yeah, the cost, as I was saying. So my braces thus far have cost me 20,300. And I feel like that's very cheap compared to all the coats I was getting. And if you can't afford, my auto is so amazing. If you can't afford, I know for people who can't afford to pay the whole thing immediately, you can do monthly installments of 500 Rand or 1,000 Rand. So it just depends on you and how quickly you want to pay it off. However, I do know you have to pay a fee of 5,000 Rand upfront in order to get the procedure going, to get it started, to put your braces on, x-rays, etc., etc. So that was actually really great. And also what they do for you is that when you're inquiring, they put together an entire quote for you. So before they put the quote together for you, actually, you go in for a normal consultation, which costs 200 Rand. A normal consultation, he looks at your teeth, he tells you what your errors are, why your mouth is this way, what he's going to do to rectify it. They basically, all that technical jargon as to how they're going to fix your mouth. And yeah, that costs 200 Rand. And from there onwards, they send you an entire quotation of clear brackets and of metal brackets, and then you choose. So I was very, very happy with the quotation. Yeah, and then I began my journey. So actually very, very cheap. Also, people wanted to know where are they based. They are actually based in Chatsworth, Bayview, Unit 2. Opposite Pelican Center. So it's Dr. Naidu's practice. You can't miss them. It's like really big. The name and everything is there. I actually leave the address and stuff like that. Maybe in one of the pictures or something like that. But yeah, or in the comments, I'll leave the braces, the address there. Sorry. Yeah. So the cost. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Okay, so another thing is how long before you start seeing results. Actually, within the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I started seeing results, which was amazing. So I'll show you a picture after this. This tooth was actually underneath the big one, so it was underneath, and then that one was right on the top. And within 2 days, it was so amazing, it started to separate, and that's why I kind of have this gap. So like it separated, and it's going basically into its correct place. And then the tooth that was right on the top has come down, so which is really great. So like within like less than a month I started to see those changes. And then like my bottom teeth started to straighten out, so it's not as in as it used to be. Also my speech has changed in terms of how I pronounce certain things, how my mouth splits or doesn't split when I'm pronouncing certain things. Like before, when I used to say my name, like Simone Morrison, before it used to be like Simone, like it used to literally split, which used to be like very irritating. And I didn't even notice it until people would film me talking. What I'm like, oh my god, my whole entire mouth splits when I say certain things. Like it was very like, yeah. So like, even the structure of my face is going through different changes. Like one minute it'll be so like there, then the next minute it feels bigger. Like it's your face, your jaw, everything goes through a whole bunch of changes. And the reason why is, and so don't be alarmed, and the reason why is because it's obviously shifting your teeth to their correct place, and it's obviously moving your jaw into its correct position. So like I remember my first consultation, my doctor said, my orthodontist said that my jaw is like you know, so that's why this lip is bigger than the top lip. So by the end of my journey, my lips will kind of be like, and honestly like I see it because like when I view my side profile compared to before, it's very evident that the jaw is going in its correct place, etc. And like honestly, your confidence also is just, it just becomes on another, because even though my teeth are not fully straight, I'm much more confident to like smile and laugh, and like when I talk I'm not so self-conscious. So like it was an absolutely great decision to go and get them done. Yeah, so don't be alarmed when your teeth start gapping. Don't be alarmed when your face starts changing structure or your lips start moving in a different way. That's all part of the process. Yeah, so I think that basically kind of answers everyone's question, because like those were like the recurring questions, and there's really not much to it. But like I feel like many videos leave out like the finer details. Like I didn't find any videos that spoke about face structure, like your teeth starting to separate and all of that. And my teeth are, I think, separating, because obviously the expander is obviously helping. And oh, one more thing, your don't be alarmed when you feel pain. Yes, I forgot about that. I want to speak about the pain because people were asking about that. So for me, and I'm a wimp, like I am a wuss, I am a pussycat, if you will, because I cannot handle pain. Like I cannot, I will not, cannot. I am the type of person on my period that is high on medication. Like I am having a few glasses of wine. Like I cannot handle pain. So like that's what I was nervous about, because everyone was like, once you put them on, you're gonna feel like your whole mouth and your teeth are falling apart, and it's like a pulling sensation. I was like, oh my god, and I cannot. But like when I put them on, honestly, like the pain is not like, I think people were really over exaggerating, or maybe I do have a high pain threshold, because I honestly don't feel it. Like my teeth really don't hurt. Like when this one was moving, that 2 day period, it felt very sensitive. That's the word. It was very sensitive. I obviously couldn't bite with it and stuff like that. I had to like watch it a bit. It did hurt just a little bit, but it was not as bad as people make it out to be. And mind you, this is a tooth moving and shifting. It was not as bad. So like what you will experience when your teeth start moving and shifting is a bit of sensitivity naturally, and it's not painful where you're going to be sitting in your lounge like, oh my god, this is so sore, etc. No, it's like you can go about your day. It'll just be like a slight beating kind of thing. It's just a slight sensation, which it kind of goes away in like 1 or 2 days depending on what's happening in your mouth. So really the pain is not that bad. When you're going to change your bands, because every single month you change your bands, and you obviously every month you go for a checkup. So yeah, and then you change your bands. When they putting on the new bands, it kind of hurts because the ortho is very, no, they're very caring and very like sensitive and all of that kind of stuff, but like they obviously need to get the job done and there's no way around it. So like they press on your teeth and it feels like your teeth are about to pop off. That's the one time I've experienced like like when she was going in, and like especially with this tooth, like I think wherever your most work needs to be, that's gonna be the most painful. So this tooth, because it moved so much when she was putting in the bands, ooh, I was like, like I was like, and she was like, "Don't worry, you're gonna be okay." They're very caring, but like it was really painful. Yeah, that was, well, not really painful. Yeah, I'm being a drama queen. Not very painful, but painful. Like definitely make a sound painful. That kind of, but like not like, oh my god, I'm gonna die kind of pain. No. Wow. Uh, what else did I forget? Okay, so another very important aspect is obviously the cleaning. And I think that's why I also prolonged my process, because I was listening to people say things like, oh my god, your mouth, how you gonna clean it? What if you have bad breath? Nya, nya, nya. And like, I'm not trying to be walking around here with bad breath. So I was also very skeptical about it because of that. But honestly, it's not a big deal. Just because you have braces does not mean you're going to have bad breath. All you're doing is cleaning, and you clean them properly. So what I like to do is floss. Obviously you floss before you sleep. You rinse your mouth straight after eating, and that kind of helps whatever particles are left there just to come out. um, there's this fine brush, kind of a small brush. I'll actually leave a picture of it, or I'll just post it on my story or something like that. So like it's a small brush. It kind of looks like those brushes that I use to clean babies' bottles, but a mini version. And you just go up your mouth, in between your braces, all of that, and you clean it out. You can also use your normal toothbrush, just depends on you. Both do the same job. And yeah, and you shouldn't have a problem. You brush properly. You must floss and brush your teeth before you sleep. um, Another important aspect is obviously the flossing. The flossing is very important. So there's a special dental floss kind of for like braces, or you can even use your normal floss if you like. So it's kind of a process, but not a process. So you just go put them in between your teeth, and it kind of cleans out whatever particles are in between your teeth. So yeah. Okay, so before you begin with obviously your braces, before you begin with your expander, all of that, I first started off with spacers. Now, spacers are put in between your teeth to create space, obviously, right? And because I didn't want to take out teeth, and my doctor did obviously wanted, my orthodontist didn't want to take out teeth. To create space, he put in the spaces. That first, so it's like you have spaces for 7 days, and honestly they're very uncomfortable, and it's disgusting because you can't brush in that area where the spaces are. So even if like food and stuff like that goes there, you really can't be there digging it all up. So that was very disgusting for me. And I actually because I'm that type of person, like I was flossing, and my doctor told me not to floss in that area because it will pop the spacer out. And I actually flossed because it feels very uncomfortable. Like it makes your teeth feel sensitive, and makes you feel like there's something stuck in your tooth. There is. Have you ever had like something like literally stuck in between your tooth or your teeth, and it's very uncomfortable? So like I was like, after I ate, I was like, this feels so uncomfortable, and I thought it was like food or something. And I went in with my floss, and I actually popped the spacer out. I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna set my process back, etc., etc. I actually just went on YouTube and watched how you put a spacer back. So if you watch a video on how to put your spacer back, it's very simple, and I just put it back in there. So yeah, so you'll have your spacers for like 7 days, and then you'll put in your expander. The spacers are so uncomfortable. I cannot stress that enough. Like I honestly feel like the expander is a little bit more comfortable than the spacers, or maybe it's because the spacers were in there first, but nonetheless they're very uncomfortable. But it doesn't really hurt, they're just very uncomfortable. Okay, so another important aspect is where do I buy my stuff, like my wax, like basically your kit. I think when you have braces, it's so important to have like a kit. My very first kit was given to me by my student. She also has braces, and she knew I was going to go in for my procedure, and she put it together, and she put this cute vanity, a mirror, and all of that. It was just the sweetest thing ever. I'm such a blessed teacher. Yeah, anyways, so I think you should have like a kit, and in your kit you should have a mirror, which you get those kind, not 3D, but like those mirrors that zoom in everything, so that like whatever, like with the mirror I have, the one she got me, like it zooms in everything. I can just see every single thing. So if there's food or like a tiny speck or whatever stuck in your teeth or in your braces or wire, whatever, you can see it clearly. So I think a mirror is important. Toothpicks are important. Wax is important. On wax, wax is important because, especially in the beginning process when you get your braces, what will happen is that some of it, like especially for me it was the side here, and it was here, and then sometimes here, where it would like graze on my lip, especially because I'm a teacher and I talk a lot, so it would just like try to cut like on my lip, and it would be so painful. So wax, you just take wax and you place it in there, in those areas, and it makes it comfortable. Yeah, so wax is also very important. You can also put floss in there. You can put whatever, like a mini kind of thing, that all the things you will need. Especially, I feel like as a lady, like when you go to the restaurant, or when you're going to school, wherever your job, wherever, like having like a braces kit is so important, because after lunch you want to go and check yourself. Like I'm that type, like after I eat I want to check myself, clean my mouth, all of that. Like I'm not trying to be like hello, and then like have like food stuck in my mouth. Not cute. I'm not trying to be that. I'm not gonna be that. So yeah, so I think it's very important to have your own braces kit. I think I've covered every single thing. If I haven't, please comment below. Let me know if I've missed out on anything, or if I haven't answered anything properly. This is my very first IGTV, so bear with me. Yeah, so like let me know below what are your thoughts, and if you have any other questions that I haven't answered, please feel free to ask, and I will answer them. Bye. I don't know how I'm going to teach like this. Like, oh, my kids are going to have a field day. Like, I can't swallow properly. I can't spit. I don't know what I'm going to do, honestly. Like, I don't know how I'm going to teach.